Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Whimsy with the Z. I'm your host, Ben. All right, if you guys have been following along, this is a December episode. We talked to the kids for the last couple of months. We're giving them a break for December. We're going to talk to some parents and some family, and some friends, see what their opinions are of this podcast. We've been doing this thing for 6 months now. Like, how crazy does that sound?
Yeah.
But today our guests are going to be Mego and Danny.
Hola.
Hello.
And you guys are parents of which kids?
Danielle and Dean.
Did they ask you to come on, or was it me that was following up that made you guys?
You remember?
Well, I know that we had been listening to the previous podcasts, and I believe they had brought it up first.
Yeah, but he had brought it up. I don't think they've approached me in the beginning. I think they wanted to feel it out and kind of see what I would say about listening to them.
Right.
But I mean, I was excited when you reached out. So for me, it's probably you.
All right. So having, I think it's like 5 months of the kids talking. They hang out with me for an hour or so a week or a month. Last month, Dean and Mark hung out. Danielle's had the opportunity to hang out with Pinky and then Alice. So they're fantastic. Love all of the kids. What were some of your first impressions of this 6 months ago when you were first approached with this idea of, do you mind if I talk to your kids about kid things?
You can go first. So you want to take this?
I mean, my initial thoughts was, oh dang, what are they gonna say? You know what I mean? I don't know. Is it Steve Harvey that does that? What the kids say the darndest things or whatever? And I was like, oh snap! Anything can kind of pop out there, and every household's got their day to days that are our day to days. You know what I mean? So, but I was glad that they were excited to do it.
A little nervous in the beginning, but I appreciated the willingness to try something different, new, way outside everybody's comfort zones.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about it. I don't know, all that stuff. It's just interesting to me, and I didn't this is just a cool thing that I wish I had as a kid. And I'm like, hey, this is like a good outlet for them. I'm thinking, you got things that you're looking for or you're, researching or diving into to learn about. So yeah, I was excited to learn in general about my kids, other kids.
With your two kids specifically, they seem pretty open within the family unit. Have you guys heard anything specifically or any of the kids? Are there things that you've heard that you're surprised about, or some of the things that shock you about some of the things they've talked about over the last 5 months?
Yes. So there was talk about so when I was in school, of course, there were drugs, weed, and, you'd hear other, I don't know, maybe Coke once in a while, or lots of drinking mainly.
Right.
But to hear in the podcasts, how bad and how much harder those drugs have become, and the peer pressure they're going through, that was shocking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was bad, but I guess I didn't know to what extent. So that was shocking, or not. Yeah, surprising to me.
Right. Yeah. I don't remember it, coming at me at such a young age, like it does, this generation,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there it is.
Also, kind of like touching on, maybe not like too diving into, but how some of the kids feel about or their family dynamic, things that happen, with their parents. That's eye-opening, and not necessarily like shocking, but interesting. And I think like I didn't expect to connect on that level, I guess, or
Right.
you know what I mean? So yeah.
How do you guys feel about the bullying? It seems to have been a consistent topic almost month to month. What does it sound like versus when you were kids? Are you aware of it now? Are you aware it's at the extreme that it is today?
So yes, and it's so sorry. For me, it's kind of weird because for bullying and I don't know if Danny feels any different. We're pretty much the same age, same grade, but it really was like some dude taking your lunch money, or like just either a group of people, or like somebody like picking on you, and like bullying was like hitting you, like I'm gonna beat your ass, or take your money, and that was like. And I sympathize with the kids now, but I do think, like my kids, I had to tell them like for instance, Danielle, when she was in elementary school, if somebody said something about her hair or something, they're bullying me. And I'm like, it's not nice. They shouldn't do that, but I don't want her to get the impression that every little thing is bullying. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Okay.
So, but it's gotten like, this is what my opinion is. It's gotten worse in the sense of social media.
Okay.
That is surprising to me, because I mean, I'd have no experience with that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, we didn't have, I mean, you're just a couple years older than us, right? So I don't know. We didn't have that stuff. I didn't have to worry about like something being like going viral or pictures. And that, in that sense, I can't say that I'm not surprised, because I can see why and how it's come about, but it breaks my heart.
Right, and, absolutely.
I do think more things should be in place, but I also think it's up to the parent and what they allow, their kid to do. And every parent, it's entitled to, raise their kid how they want. And sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing, or something really bad that could hurt somebody, or even it's sad. Like kids are actually like trying to commit suicide now because of these types of things that are happening. So with that, sadly though, I'm not surprised, because I saw it coming a while ago.
Right.
But it is very heartbreaking. I don't know if you have anything to add. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely sympathize for, anybody that's been bullied, and it's heartbreaking to hear, our kids and others talk about being bullied in their experiences, and coming from a place of being bullied when I was a kid. To me, bullying's always been around, but it's definitely different now. Like Megan touched on, it's social media and things of that nature that things that our kids are staring at most of the time nowadays are it's in their face negativity, just, and the perception that they have on themselves. I think it's more of a, back in my day, it was more of like a physical bullying, what I mean? Although, it did get to you mentally, of course. But it was more of a physical thing. But now it's more of a in your space, staring at your screen, and you got these you got your thoughts and your demons developing based on this negativity that they're getting online. And it's definitely a different kind of bullying. It's a little more penetrating, I think. It's mentally, of course.
Oh, for sure. I mentioned early on, like, I don't agree with bullying, but I can understand the physical one. The one, like you guys were saying, like I want your lunch money, or I don't like you. I'm gonna let's fight by the willow trees at noon. I don't like it, but I can wrap my head around that because I know who it is that has a problem with me. And then with the social media aspect, there's so many more, and they're faceless, and there's no way to talk back to it because there's just so much of it. It's like there's so much more one-sided now. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is scary,
right? Is that what you're trying?
But
one-sided, as in whoever does the post has kind of
right.
Mm-hmm. I was I guess I was kind of bullied. I was more of kind of I bullied in making fun of people. So when they retaliated, they obviously I had a part in it.
Right.
It got better. Will it get better as soon as they get through, as they continue through high school and then out of high school? Do you think the bullying stops? If the kids are worried, oh my God, is it ever going to get better? Do you think it gets better once they get out?
I think I'm a millennial. I don't know if that makes a difference now. That gets tossed around nowadays. Gen X, Gen Z, right. Of course. But I know when I got out of school or what have you, there's always a level of bullying still. Okay. Especially if you got a group of guys that are always getting together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And some are friends of friends and stuff like that. There's always that. That level of competition. I think it just develops in a different way when you get out of school. Mm-hmm. I think when the newer generations are getting out of those types of situations, it's not really going to be any different because their screen just went with them, like we were touching on earlier. It's definitely a different type. I know that I'm not saying they're 100%, getting bullied on just the screen or anything. They definitely have their physical interactions or, personable situations where they, are interacting with people and, everybody's kind of got that machismo about them sometimes where, it can, like Megan was touching on, a little bit earlier, that that level of bullying. You know what I mean? And it's just that when we're adults, it's more of a competition than it is bullying at that point,
Well, I think different. I think it will get better. But kind of adjacent to that, I think that also depends on the support and, tools that these kids have as they go through teenage years, because that's rough as hell. So, unfortunately, some are probably going to make it out pretty broken and need a lot more support or, help or, those types of things. But I think, a lot of people will also come out of it like, okay, you're not going to be in school every day seeing or hearing these people. Right. And I think, once you go to college or you go and start working or whatever they decide to do with their life, we grow into adults and it becomes more of a day-to-day. This is what I've got to do. And you start caring less about, I don't care what Susie that was in the third row said, or, now it's virtual. But I think it will get better because as a teen, we can't see past Friday night. It's in the somewhere. But as we get older, we begin to really this is temporary and I'm growing. And then from that point, though, I think the bullying can potentially be less often, but worse as an adult because adults are smarter. They know how to get more information. They can be a lot more petty and vile as far as do
you think that
life?
So a lot of the bullying now that we're seeing via the social media, part of the reason why it's so rough on all the kids is their brains aren't fully developed. I mean, they're kids. So when they grow up in 17, 18, 19, get out of high school, do you think some of the stuff you're seeing now, do you think the majority of people will grow out of that pettiness. And because like for me, I don't talk to a single person from high school. I don't care to, I don't know any of them. I don't care to follow up on any of them. But as soon as I graduated, like the amount of people that I interacted with on a daily basis instantly in half. And then over the years, more and more and more. Do you think kids are at a point, or society's at a point now where we're going to take all of these pettinesses and carry them beyond 18, do you think?
I mean, I think we can. But I don't know. Danny and I have been kind of some history too. We've been together since high school. And we don't have a lot of friends. We probably got 3, maybe 4.
From high school.
And 3 of them are from high school. But it definitely can take, you can take that pettiness with you. Mm-hmm. I think as an adult though, like if you keep, I don't know how to put this, if you keep being petty or you kind of give into that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to keep feeding this social media. I'm going to keep, trying to get back or, internet revenge or whatever. If you keep feeding that, then it's going to translate in adulthood by something really bad happening to you. Mm-hmm. That is like serious. I don't know, let's say, your husband or wife cheats on you, and then you go out there and that pettiness carries over and you're just like posting nudies and like all of them and all kinds of, what I mean? Like revenge stuff. Well, I think it can carry over. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's, no, I mean, I think, if you're talking about, pettiness, if it's like a social growth type of thing when they get out of high school, then like Megan was talking about, people can carry that over to, social media and things of that nature. But I don't know, man. That's
it's absolutely terrifying.
What do you think?
I try to be a little bit more optimistic about it, of like, just get through the next 4 years, because a lot of this, stuff that matters today doesn't matter in 4 years.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely not the same types of stresses. I mean, it's not like, you can't build your own life and be happy and stay away from those influences, because everybody has the power to. Right. I think, creating natural habits that I'm sorry, not natural habits, healthy habits is what I meant to say, away from those negative things and, building towards a future and on yourself. Especially yourself first, and then, those close to you, then you can definitely have something way better than what you have going on right now, especially when you get out of school, Right.
It's just interesting because like now it's like I worry about what this person said about what shoes I wore. And I couldn't fathom the idea that either of you care that your coworker hates what shoes you wore to work today.
Nope, not one bit.
So I am a little bit doing the podcast. I've definitely become more optimistic because they're talking with everybody. There is definitely there's a shine that comes across each of the kids, where they got some struggles, but at least talking about it and the self-awareness of it, I feel I try to stay positive that the podcast, the family units that they have, the friendships that they have, and the general support group will help them through the next couple of years and kind of help them redefine things that are important to them. So as they transition out of high school, that they continue to grow and get rid of the more kid type stuff.
Right. All the things that aren't going to matter later on. They seem huge now, but A fly seems pretty big when it's on, on the edge of your binoculars, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's a little thing, and it's not going to matter, once it flies away.
Right.
It's gone forever. And then you have, different goals and things that you can build upon afterwards.
Right.
Just use it as a learning experience.
Right.
It's my best advice.
But I think it's important what you said, like the support system.
Yeah.
Kids need more support. Like there's just, and I don't know, I'm not going to get into like different topics, but I mean, there should be, and I think that honestly, that should start at home.
Right. Sure.
I'm not perfect. I screw up sometimes, and but I love my kids, and I think that just that basic foundation of, at least somebody at home that cares and loves you, that's going to go a long way. And then if you have friends that are like good friends and, those ride or die friends, for lack of a better term. And like you said, like that support system. And I honestly think that what you're doing, what the kids are doing, this is going to sound so cliche, but it helps us help them.
Yeah.
Does that make,
Yeah, for sure.
And I would definitely tell the kids, that the friends that they have now, it's always great to have friends. It's always good to have, there's different points of view and experiences and things of that nature. I cherish each and every, friendship I had, whether it was good or bad. In the end, I cherish that experience, but I wouldn't hinge every, future prospect on, the friends that you have now.
My bestie
the ones that really count are going to be there later on, and that's it.
How do you guys feel about the friend circles today are more virtual? Like growing up, it's 5-6 of us all hanging out at someone's house, someone's bedroom, someone's backyard, pool party, going to the movies.
I dig it.
Today, maybe not as much. Like a lot of the interactions now, a lot of the quote unquote friends are typically some form of like social media friend. There's not a lot of physical interactions. What are some of your thoughts about the lack of face-to-face time with friends?
I think I have a really strong opinion about that. Actually, I think they need it. It's great to see face-to-face. Not just that, but on a screen you can see and talk and communicate and all that. But there is a cadence. You understand like sarcasm better. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, our body language when you're in person, it's just all different. There's more of a, I think as humans, we crave some type. I mean, some of us like people less than others, but we all crave some kind of relationships or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, just like, my sarcasm, even over video or phone, does not translate if you can't see my facial, you know what I mean? Or right. like when I hit you or whatever.
It doesn't translate well across text message. Right.
It's kind of like, because like all this social awkwardness kind of exists because we don't know how to handle social cues anymore because it's all either video or you can't convey tone in text. So like they've lost this entire growth of learning how to read people. And, I think part of that feeds into that social anxiety that they all seem to have. So
I have a couple of different outlooks on it because, they have the relationships online now more than, previous generations. For my generation, that part of me speaking, like y'all were saying, I think it's great being in person and, hanging out with people. I'd rather be with friends, having a beer or shooting some darts or, something.
Right.
and but the generation now would rather be online in a chat or something like that, and part of me digs that too, because that's I love it myself. You know what I mean? I'm online all the time. Well, not all the time, but I'm online a lot, and I like being in parties with my buddies on the Xbox and stuff.
Xbox.
Not the Xbox. Oh man, they're gonna kill me off for that one. No,
can we cut that out, please?
Let's cut that out. Yeah, it's oh man.
It's adult bullying. You don't have the right platform. We can't be friends anymore.
No, it's a PlayStation. So I mean, we have our games and stuff like that. So I completely understand that camaraderie that comes along with associating with people online. Prior to that, I was PC gaming, and I would meet different people, every day, playing Overwatch or something like that. And I definitely understand the relationships that you build with those people, because even you see things like on Netflix now, there's that story about that kid that had that relationship on World of Warcraft, and he was paraplegic. I don't recall his condition, but there's these people speaking about the impact that he had with this relationship. So it can be a very wonderful thing.
Targaryen each of that one did kill himself.
I can see it from both points of view. You know what I mean? But yeah, there are unfortunate situations that come along with just living in that kind of world as well. So I think a healthy balance between the two is best. Ideal. But
yeah, I think somebody just killed themselves, right, over Daenerys, a kid.
Yeah, there was a story about an artificial intelligence thing. I don't recall all the details, so I wouldn't talk.
But he committed suicide, right?
He did, apparently. Yeah.
Do you guys ever try to shelter the kids from stories like that, world events, like whatever's going on in politics or global affairs?
No. My point of view is why. They're just so that they can find out later that I lied about it. If it's in the world, it's in the news, it's there forever. They're gonna find out. Sometimes, like we've seen in the last couple of decades, the public school system's definitely changed a lot in terms of how they teach and what they teach. It's where was I going with that? In terms of no, we'll move on. I forgot where I was going with that one.
Cut that out too.
Do you guys ever, as a family or even individually in the car, speak philosophically about things in the news or current events and try to have a conversation about their feelings about what's happening in this side of the country or what's happening over here on this side of the world? Politics gets a little bit weird. Family, parents tend to try to skew their kids, one side or the other side. But do you guys have those conversations of, hey, I heard some kid killed himself. Have you thought about that? Why do you think he did it? Or any of those conversations happening?
Yeah, a lot of the time they know about it before we do. You know what I mean? We're back to the social media, but we do have conversations in the household. I feel like we're very open with one another. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, they're the ones asking us the questions. Okay. But we do ask them, things about their day or how they're feeling. And I think at their ages right now, it's just not something that they want to talk about sometimes. It's easier to talk to other people sometimes. And I get that. It's easier to talk to a friend than my dad growing up. You know what I mean? I'm 100% would rather talk to a buddy than I would my dad sometimes growing up. It's,
I disagree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I grew up, I love my mama. I love my mama and my dad, but I swear everything I asked was, don't worry about it. You don't need to know. And which is to an extent is good. Like there's boundaries, like, sometimes Dean, you can cut that out. Okay. Sometimes Dean can get very inquisitive, no, it's bad, because he'll come in and I'm on the phone, or I'll come in and he's like, who's that? What did they say? And what are you looking at? What does that letter say? And where are you going? What time are you going to be back? And I'm like, what are you, my husband? You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, if that was me and my mom, I would always ask, where are we going? My mom would be like, Courtesy Chevrolet, whatever that meant. Well, yeah, back in El Paso. But grandpa and grandma, imagine questioning every little thing. But in the same sense, I never got answers. So there were a lot of things I had to find out by myself. And a lot of them turned out not to be true. If we're being open, things like, about sex, drugs, sexuality, all that stuff. My parents were like, let's not talk about it. You know what I mean? Just not. And I did not want to be that. So I think I'm the opposite. I will talk to them constantly. Like the day I heard about that Targaryen guy out, I was like, hey, do you guys know about this? Danielle, she's on AI a lot and she's really into anime characters. So, we did talk about that, and I annoy them because I think, I try not to. I know we do, especially because that's our foundation. We can tend to hope they lean towards our, political views.
Right.
But I always teach them one thing that we're both big at. Don't even listen to me. Don't listen to that. You need to do your own research.
There you go.
Form your own opinions, and that's where you need to go, and that's it. But I tell them, they get annoyed with me with how much I like to learn, and I know I like history, and I want to know what's going on in the world, how it's going to affect us, how it's going to affect my future grandbabies. And I do. The kids are going to be our leaders,
Well, absolutely. It's weird. I'm optimistic enough to be because there's the part of the podcast is first reaction is they're dumb. They just do social media. They don't pay attention to anything, short attention span, all the negative things. But we were all that when we were kids. It's the same thing. I am wildly curious to see how Liam, how Dean, Danielle, Mark, Pinky, Sophia, how they take the mess that is today and somehow make it better. Because they have to make it better.
Yeah.
It can't get worse. So it is interesting. I'm curious to see what 18-year-old thems look like. But I love the idea of seeing who they are now. So that way, when they do start to succeed and start doing all these amazing things, to be like, I was there when you guys were afraid to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Having listened to a couple of the episodes, or whatever number of episodes, what are some of the highlights? What are some of the things that stand out that you're glad you heard? A question that you're glad I'm asked? Just any interactions that you loved that you heard because of the podcast?
There's been a few things. I don't know. There's a few questions that you've asked about. You have this habit of making sure that you're very open.
Yeah.
You don't drive what they're gonna say.
Right.
Anyway, I like that, and so that just kind of leaves it open for them. But no, I mean, you kind of dig in. Why do you think that?
Right.
Or what made you feel that way? Or like, back questions.
Mhm.
And so I really appreciate that. I think the kids have blossomed and opened up, all of them. Like, I think their personalities shine and they're funny.
Mhm.
I think, I'm very, very grateful to Alice and Pinky. They've really helped Danielle come out of her shell and feel like, I don't know, she's on online school. So, not too many friends. And the fact that she gets to hear, others and what they're going through, and she can relate, learn, grow, and know that also she's got some type of support in that area. I think that's a really cool thing. And then in general, just like, the different topics, that you guys cover, and not just like the deep stuff, just other things that uncover their personality or their creativity or what they are into, things that I learn about our kids that I didn't necessarily catch on to or realize. I don't know.
I definitely love all the kids stuff. I like the the early stuff in the podcasts too. All the family stories. It's always great to hear more about the family, and just the different experiences that they're having at these different age levels is intriguing. And I think it's going to be beneficial to whoever hears it.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys noticed your two, the confidence that I eventually get out of them through the podcast? Is that translating into the real world? Have you seen any changes in their behavior, the way that they talk to you or just interact with each other?
I see. I see, especially with Dean, when just the difference, like the early ones, he was just very, and he's always been like that in real life, or
in real life.
Dean.
I may have been doing that the entire time as well.
I was going to take the one at the end. I'll have you guys all say their names so I can clip them out and just drop them where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, I have not done this.
So Dean has, he's always been very, very, very introverted. And reserved, and he's like me, like I'm goofy and I'm funny, and but like I have a very close net of people. I don't go too much. I mean, I like people, I get along, but I don't go like making relationships outside of that typically. Right. I keep to myself, and I'm a homebody, and he gets that. I don't know from me, but he was just afraid to open up in general. I have noticed that since this podcast, just because they do go to an online school, I check on them and I can hear them when they're in school. He's gotten much more comfortable like answering in class. Instead of like trying to like, hide his face and all that. Of course, he still does get nervous depending on the topic or if he's not comfortable with knowing the answer. But I have noticed that he's actually been covering his face less too, huh?
Definitely. I think they both have more confidence.
Danielle
in their interactions. Yeah.
I think she is amazing. Like she's the youngest by years, and she wants to be nervous, but she just shines. You get her talking about something.
She's a pro, man. They saw these days coming when they were both babies.
Videos, yeah.
We have videos. We'll have to. I don't know if we. You probably have them, yeah. We have videos where they were like pretending to be on podcasts and
that's so cool.
Intros and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have those videos. That's funny. I love her. She's pretty much the opposite of me, and I absolutely love that because she's girly. She's more like you said, she's like talkative, outgoing, and I don't know. She's sweet, and my gosh, she's funny. She's funny.
She's funny. It's nice that we're able to shine a light on that and get her interacting with Pinky and Alice, so that way she doesn't lose some of that, because I think some of it is when you start getting in to the upper grades, like you slowly become afraid to be yourself. So I hope she stays the same. She's fantastic. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Dean, I love Dean. A little quiet in the beginning. I remember like the third episode, I was like, I need more from you.
Sounds about right.
But I appreciate that he was able to listen to his own episodes, and he was able to make some of those connections that he was a little bit more closed off, and that he personally didn't like it. And since then, he's shining great too.
I think Dean would psych himself out, right? Before like especially before his first couple of podcasts with you guys, he would get real nervous before, but he's he gets into it real smoothly now. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I got excited because I have seen lately. I think past couple of recordings, maybe especially this last one, like he does have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Where like he's like, and he gets like he literally physically will just be like this, and
right.
And run around the house. I'm gonna die. He's done that less now, and he's more able to. I don't know. I just noticed that. I don't know if it's like directly related to the podcast, but I like to think so because I never would have thought he'd be like talking now. Right. You know what I mean? Like
it was fun listening to him and Mark because they were both nervous, and there's definitely moments of awkwardness, but the beauty of the podcast, I have it on episode like 6 of Chasing the Whimsy, where I reflected on Liam podcasting, just like even just 6 episodes in, is you leave the mic on long enough and they will relax and get out of their own heads, and there's just nothing but gold coming out of them. And then just Danielle, the second she sees any other face, she's just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't want to, I'm glad to know that the podcast seems to help them a little bit as far as being more comfortable talking. If some of the questions help them kind of look inward a little bit more, and they can kind of start identifying things that they don't like, and they're subconsciously trying to fix some of those things. That's the whole idea of the podcast, really, is just what is it that you're doing? And then if they can learn, I've learned stuff in the 400 hours that I've recorded. Liam's learning stuff. It's just fantastic. I love it. How do you guys feel about the kids doing online school?
I like it for certain reasons, and then I definitely have my part of me that wants the public school option, because I came up in public school. I think I'm an okay guy. There's definitely experiences that come with that they don't get online. Right. I think that they're doing fantastic online. They're very comfortable with it. I definitely think it's this is the way things are headed in the human race, and I think it's going to be that's how it's going to be, and so I think sorry. Where was I?
I'll just take over.
Go ahead, please.
You were saying that you think that
this is where we're going. You're okay with the online school?
The online school. Yes, the online school. No, I love it for them. They're doing well in it. They're going to communicate like that in the future. I know now, even in my business, that you deal a lot online. every meeting used to be, in-person meeting. Now, there's a majority of them that are Zoom meetings now, even outside of, the pandemic era. But, I think they're thriving. I think they have a lot of opportunities in it. They love it. And that matters to me. They always have that allows them, I think, in their spare time to pursue things that they're genuinely interested in. But yeah, I like it for them. It's just the other things that I miss for them, like, homecomings and proms and stuff like that.
Dean had mentioned that he didn't get to go. Granting, freshman boys don't want to go to homecoming anyway, but but yeah, he did mention a little bummed that he didn't have one to go to. But again, what's nice is the beginning of it. It was, I don't really care so much for the social interactions, but now that he missed it, he's able to reflect on that and be like, you know what, I think I kind of do. And now he's able to start taking the appropriate steps to make that happen for moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think they necessarily love it as much as they thought. I know that academically, their grades are way better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Way better. And also I put them back in because I was worried about that interaction, the social interaction. I put them in for a few years and they struggled. I mean, the bullying, Danielle actually it was pretty bad with her. And Dean, him too.
So when people listen to this and there's like a weird Dean and the word Danielle placed in it.
I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Let's cut this part. It's Dean. With her, I can probably remember because Danielle's actually her middle name. So I can probably remember that. But yeah, Dean. How could I not remember
I love
Dean?
it. That's so funny.
But they went and that happened. And then Dean, he had a hard time still. I said it again. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Ben.
You know what's messing us up?
He keeps
passing right in front of us.
Right?
Every time he does, we do that because he's trying to distract us. You got man.
But yeah, I put that he didn't. So academically for myself, I think that it's better. He does crave that social interaction. I will say this though. Dean has I have tried as a parent. I've forced him to go to certain events, but I have tried to, get him interested in something extracurricular. It's a bummer. The sport that they were going to play doesn't have a coach for this winter, so they're not going to get to play this winter. But they were going to volleyball. Yeah. So that's not going to happen. But like just different things. Before I think the only thing Dean has really done for a while is the drums and instruments. As far as extracurricular, he used to run for a bit and then he stopped. But yeah,
his extracurricular is
video games.
That's nothing wrong with video games.
He plays them. I'm like, that's your extracurricular.
Dean's okay. Dean he cares about the family unit a lot, and some of the early episodes, every once in a while, he seems to try to accommodate to you two more than being a kid. What are some of you guys' how do you guys feel when you were hearing some of those conversations?
I knew it before. He's always been like a serious, he can be goofy and all that, but he's always been a serious kid, and that boy can read me like nobody. He's got
that empathy. You told him he's the most empathetic person, so he sees it and he wants to help and he wants to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard because he doesn't. I don't want him to worry, but he's always like, tell me. And I'm like, and I don't always, obviously, but he knows sometimes. He's getting older. He can see, certain things or, just different things. He's keen to it. And you know, I don't know. I have some health issues, and that definitely affects some things. So I know he worries about all kinds of stuff in the home. I wish he didn't. So as a parent, it like hurts me because I don't want him to worry about that kind of stuff. And growing up the way I did for a big portion, I had to grow up really fast, and I didn't want that for him. Of course, he doesn't have to go through, the things that I did as far as like not knowing where his next meal is going to come from or if he's going to have a bed at night. So that's good. But I didn't want him to feel that stress or pressure because they'll have that later. There's time for this later. So I do feel guilty about that.
I don't think it's necessarily anything that you can do. I mean, you raise him to have empathy, and he can see it, and he's very inquisitive, so he wants to know. So I don't think it's anything you need to be guilty about, for sure. I think it's definitely a good trait for him to have, to have so much caring. So like I appreciate where he's at as far as wanting to know and be helpful. But I agree. There's some things that like the kids just don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
Like this is not this is an adult thing. This is beyond your skill set. So be a kid for a minute. I'll let you know what to worry about.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Unplugged episode with Pinky?
That was the episode. I think that was the one where that kind of opened up about like the meth and like stuff going on in high school, stuff at home, and things with her mom. I think she kind of paved that. Like, she was the first Unplugged, right?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So she kind of paved it. That one hit me. Just because there's a lot of things in that one that I can relate to personally. But yeah, I think she paved the way. I think she did a great job. It kind of dove us in. I appreciate her opening up.
Absolutely.
And it just gave me insight that, yeah, there's a lot of things that's one of the episodes I said that things that surprised me hearing. That was one of them. So yeah.
It was an interesting concept. Pinky's been fantastic. She's been very open since day one, and she loved the idea of telling her story. She loves talking to Danielle and kind of helping her open up a little bit. Yeah. I liked it. It was a fun episode, and I think we should do them again just to kind of the Whimsy with the Z is a little fun. We can get in some deeper conversations, but that Unplugged kind of gives you that unfiltered, look inside a little bit. And it was interesting, and I can't thank her enough for willing to talk to me, that deep, especially for a podcast that was supposed to be a little bit more silly and insightful. But she's like, let's take it next level, because she found that there's an importance to the conversations and what we were trying to do. So I appreciate her so much for it.
Yeah, definitely.
We've asked all the kids if they would do one, and it's interesting because you don't know what it's going to be about. Like I have a general idea with some areas I wanted to go because I've spoken with her, but it is interesting to see like who knows where any of the other kids would go. But I like that they feel it's a safe place. They're able to talk about it and share with everybody. You guys have any questions for me? What would you guys like to hear from some future episodes?
Like as in like what topics,
anything. What would you like to? What do you hope to? Let's go with topics, and then second question will be, what do you hope to see your kids? What part of your kids would you like to see grow towards the end of year one, and then if they continue after that? Like, what do you guys what kind of growths are we hoping to see?
I don't know. When I think of growth lately in the kids, I've been kind of wanting to see what they want to be and do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're at a critical point right now where they start really, really building towards that, as people. So I'm not sure if there's, anything that's going to help them, kind of pursue their passions further, kind of just go like that, kind of that next level. So that, that they have that goal, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bigger goal, essentially. Because, I don't know. I think, there's a lot of, looking behind at this point or kind of staying stagnant with a lot of people. And I think it's important for the youth now to just kind of have that bigger goal to work towards.
So I think something I would want to hear as a parent is the kids. I don't know if they would necessarily have to find a way to do this, but like specific ways that would help to support them better.
Okay.
Because I know each kid's different, but I know general ideas of as parents how we can adapt. Because we're new to this whole social media thing too, and we're dealing with it. And so any insight on how to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never had that kind of help. So I would like to hear that. And then in the future, I think it would be interesting to see like kind of how far this goes and to see if this is like a good, still remains an open space for them and, until they graduate, and also to see if any of their relationships with each other kind of maintain in the future. That's kind of what I'm interested in seeing.
I am I've talked about it a little bit, but I would like to try to get them all on a Facebook group or a chat chain, like just get them all interacting. So that way in between months or weeks, they can, I can communicate with them all and be like, here's the idea that I have, start thinking. But then absolutely be like, Dean be like, hey, Mark, let's play some games, and like, hey, check out I'm dyeing my hair. And I would love just to see states apart, this idea of like, they all just hanging out together. It fascinates me because like the girls are hitting it off. Dean and Mark only had the one episode, but I love the idea that the only thing they have in common is this random podcast and how quickly they all semi-bonded with each other.
I was going to say the Chasing the Whimsy, the little family there.
It's been a blast. Alice has already said that she would come back next year, or will continue through next year after graduation. So we can get an insight on what a Gen Z life after high school looks like.
Yeah.
Will be interesting. Just because they all, every single one of them mentioned it. Why do you think they worry about taxes? What is it about taxes that you think that they're freaking out about? Do you guys worry about taxes?
I think they're freaking out because everybody else is freaking out. It's kind of like an environmental infection at this point. Yeah. It's just.
Are you talking about? Okay, for me, and I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't have a problem sharing this. If you want to cut it out, you can. But I have bipolar disorder, so sometimes my mind just goes. Right. And I don't know. I have this thing, and it's like a game to me. Like we go to the restaurant or anywhere, I figure out like the tax on everything. It's like a game to me.
Right. You're like total 9%. You're like, boom, 30 cents. Like you're like $3.90.
Yeah. I don't do the change, but like I round up, and it's like weird, but also just like
over the years, that number's gotten bigger.
No, I've never like, honestly, until I had kids, I never realized like, okay, I just see like my taxes coming out. For instance, we got like last month is $1,000, or 2 months ago, $1,000 bonus. Take home was $600 and something. And I'm just like, and the economy does worry me. I think I feel really old because I can remember, back when we could buy groceries for like an entire week for $50, and now it's like $250 for a family of four. It's ridiculous. So
it's a mess. It's absolutely horrible out there.
Yeah, so they probably just hear us talking about it, and so they're talking about it.
It was weird because it wasn't like the economy or like the price of stuff. It was just really like the idea that they had to fill out taxes every year really seemed to really just bug these kids for 3 months.
Oh, you know what? I especially with Dean, I know what it is because he's asked me before, and opposite of my mom, I love my mom again, but opposite of her, if you ask me a question, I'll rant. And I'm the kind of person that I'm not smart, but like if I want to learn, like I'll just anything. If I, give me history factor, I'll look up something. So I'll be like spouting out facts. And so I tend to do that, kind of. And I think I pulled out a thing because I do our taxes. I used to do taxes at a shop when I was younger too, and so I over-explain things. So I was probably showing him like, hey, this is what it is, and he's like, I have to do that. I have to figure out this, and like it's just crazy. And then our kids saw a TikTok, I think, where this kid. These, I don't know if it was staged or not, but these parents were like, open your check, and he gets it. And they're like, how much are you going to get? And he's like counting his hours. And then he's, what? I only got this. And they're like, welcome to adulthood kind of thing. That might be it. Or the math, simply just the math of it. I don't know.
because it's just because I've never once worried about taxes in my life. Like the idea of filling up, like I just knew like you had to, it was always a thing. Death and taxes, right?
Yeah.
The only two like guaranteed things. But yeah, it was just weird how they all like bonded together over this, like this hatred of this thing that they know almost zero about. Just on this idea of what they perceived as like the bad government coming after your money. But I just bought a car recently, and they should absolutely like get rid of taxes. Let's worry about car payments and insurance. Like if you're going to worry about anything, like, it's fine. Like I can wrap my head around those things. Before I let you go, Dean is 14, coming up 15. Is he looking for work? Have we thought about ideas to help push him towards finding a job when he starts ready to be of age to work?
I thought that's interesting because we just last week he said he was serious and he wanted to know the age because he was going to turn 15. Mm-hmm. So I contacted the am I not supposed to say where I'm from? New Mexico, right?
It's a big state, okay?
You might as well just give us your full address and social security number.
Anybody want photocopies? I got you.
Told you I overshare. Okay. What was I saying? I forgot now.
Getting a job. You're inquiring
I called them and they said he's actually eligible at 14. So we just got to go get it stamped and find. There's only certain places that will be at 14. So like we didn't
grocery stores, probably ice cream place.
Right. Yeah, and he wants to do like I think Starbucks does have an age thing, but I know certain places like I think Chick-fil-A will do young, and they let you pick your hours. He's off on Sundays, so we're looking into ideas. Originally, before they had canceled volleyball, we had planned for him to do that next year. Start looking. But now it's like Christmas time and stuff. So probably we'll, I don't want to rush him either.
Right.
I do, just because Dean is very very, very introverted and doesn't like to go out and everything. But he does. He's also he's like, I'm ready to make money. I want to make, want things. I'm like, okay. Also had conversation with him too. Like I wanted him to understand, like, that money that he makes is going to be for him to save up for, a car, whatever he's saving up for, big purchases.
Right.
And then when he starts driving, we're obviously going to help him or get a car, but then he's going to have gas and things that are going to be on him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's ready. I don't know if Mama's ready.
Right.
But I'm excited for him, and I do think it's about time for him to break out of his tippiness just a little bit, and
right.
just to find what makes him happy and what he likes. Because I think if he never tries anything, he'll never know.
Right. Well, I appreciate both of your kids. They make this podcast. They make it work. They make it rewarding for me to. I have ideas and this weirdness, and I like talking to people, and they've indulged me with my whimsiness, and they've both shined. I mean, all the kids really shined, respectively in all their episodes. But no, personally, the two of you for taking the chance on Whimsy, on myself, and the trust that I'm handling the kids with care, and that we've learned something, and we're continuing to learn something, and it's been a fun journey. I look forward to continuing doing this thing for as long as they want to.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you too for giving him that platform, and if there's anything we can do, for the kids, or any support or anything you learn that might help us as parents, let us know.
Obviously reach out whenever you guys like. I figure we do this every 5 or 6 months, have you guys back on again and see what the end of the year looks like. You guys got a trip to Disney coming up, so we look forward to hearing about their guys' trip. It's so funny, I don't know if you guys noticed throughout the podcast, it took everybody about probably 4 months to realize that they're siblings.
Yeah. It took them a while. I'm surprised that Danielle didn't drop that sooner.
Right.
Or get more hints to it.
Right. Good thing I didn't have you on earlier. We'd know where everybody's at.
Yeah. 111 Main Street.
Right. All right. Thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me today. I'll get this out sometime. I think the 6th, I think I said 6th, 13th, and the 20th is roughly where I'm going to look at putting these out. Danny, the kids were super excited to have you on. I don't, for whatever reason, we don't see a lot of dads interacting. So I appreciate you listening to the episodes and being on with us today. And it's been fun getting to know the two of you guys too a little bit more. But we'll definitely keep it going. And you guys have a good night.
Yes, sir.
You too. Thank you for having us.
Yep. Bye. Whimsy.